Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Queen of TV channel. I am your host, the Queen herself. If you're watching this, you are either a viewer or a subscriber, and I would like to welcome you. Today, we will be talking about a show that I've already reviewed before, but you know what? We're getting back to basics. I've been gone for months, and now I'm like, fuck depression and anxiety. We're doing this. I started this YouTube channel last year in August. I'm going to come back in August. So, guys, before we get into the intro, let me say something real quick to you. Please watch to the end. There will be cussing and profanity in it. And yes, I will be giving my honest opinion about how I feel about the things going on in this TV show. Without further ado, welcome to the channel, my prince and princesses. It is time to talk about H2O, Season 1, Episode 1, Metamorphosis. We start this episode with our introduction of Cleo and Emma. Emma, who is a champion swimmer of the swim team, and Cleo, her best friend, who is timing her while she's swimming. She looks at the stopwatch after she makes it to the finish line, and Emma tells Cleo that it is her personal best. Only 2 points under her personal best. Cleo is a very supportive friend, telling Emma that she was doing really good. Emma tells her that she will do even better when regionals come, which is in 2 weeks. Cleo leaves and she has a run-in with another character named Zane. His full name is Zane Bennett. Zane Bennett is the rich, popular boy of the school that they go to and of the town because his father is well known. He needs Cleo's help because, well, his spark plug is missing. It's been stolen from him. Zane takes it upon himself to be able to convince a not so sure if I should Cleo, apparently not feeling up to the task, but he is able to get her to help him out. Well, she was right to be skeptical of this situation because the moment she gets on the boat and start asking questions, he pushes her out to sea. She is confused as to why he would do this, asking him as much because she didn't take his spark plug. Well, he so happens to say that it was because she was just here and he just wanted to mess with her. Him and his best friend Nathaniel, aka Nate, the show does not give him a last name, is laughing along with him as they watch Cleo drift out. We apparently can see that Cleo is terrified. That is because we find out later in the episode, Cleo cannot actually swim. She is afraid of water. Does the show elaborate on why she's afraid of water and whatever phobia she has? Nope, not at all. So, Zane tells Cleo to just swim for it because there's no other way she's going to get out of this situation. Cleo gives up immediately. But guess who comes to her rescue? Another character that we're introduced to, Rikki. Rikki is our third and final mermaid of this episode. She leaps onto the Zodiac, the name of Zane's boat, and proceeds to try to help Cleo. Cleo states the obvious to her that they are both drifting out to sea. And that apparently this is not a rescue. Rikki shows her that she's the one that stole Zane's spark plug. Why? Because she just wanted to, and she doesn't like the fact that Zane is a pig. It's not just because of that, it is because of who Zane is as a person. Him being rich. So it is obvious to us, not in season 1, but in season 2, that it had to do with the fact that Zane was a rich kid and Rikki came from the poor class. Which is why Rikki clashes with a lot of other characters, especially in season 2. So, Rikki helps Cleo out, fixes the spark plug on the boat. Rikki is astonished when Cleo calls her by her name. Cleo apparently tells Rikki that she's known about her name since she arrived at the school. So Rikki is a new kid. She's not from here. She just moved here. And apparently, Cleo meant to say hello and everything, but she's making a little small talk and they bond kind of. Once the spark plug is fixed and the motor is running, they decide to splash Zane with water. Nate laughs but quickly shuts up the moment that Zane looks at him. Rikki and Cleo speed off with the Zodiac. Now, before this happened, Zane did tell Cleo he could keep the Zodiac. His dad'll just buy him another one. Yeah, he got into trouble for that by his dad. I don't think it's that simple. Well, they end up running into Emma. Rikki, apparently, isn't what Emma would call a friend. Cleo asks Emma if she wants a ride. Emma asks Rikki if she's licensed. Rikki gets smart with her and says, "Are you my mother?" Now, there's a quick note in this. We meet both of Emma's and Cleo's parents, but we don't meet Rikki's parents. We do meet Rikki's dad in the next season, but we never meet her mom. And Zane, we never meet his mom either. The show does not elaborate on what happened, so we're just left with that. Emma begrudgingly agrees, and she's on the boat with them, and they're having a grand old time, and Rikki wants to go way out to shore. Emma asks if that's a good idea. Rikki said it should be fine, that they just need to chill out. Yeah, they chilling out. Because the gas in the Zodiac runs out. Now the motor doesn't work. Emma obviously has a comeback and asks Rikki if they're chilled out yet. Apparently, Rikki's trying to be optimistic about the situation and says that they're floating. They're not sinking, so they're fine. Some way, somehow, there is some magical paddles in there for them to use to go out to Mako Island. Rikki apparently doesn't know that Mako Island is not a place to go to. Matter of fact, Cleo and Emma tell her just as much. They tell her that no one goes out there. It is full of mangroves, spiders, and snakes. Apparently, it's a spooky place. Very dangerous. They don't have any other options. They go to the island, they make it to shore. Cleo is wondering how on earth they is going to get home, and Emma gets smart again and asks her, why don't she ask her friend? Rikki says that this is not her fault. We'll get to that in the review. Emma luckily brought her phone, but sadly there is no signal. They have to go way to the top of the volcano, kind of, just to get signal. Cleo and Rikki have a little spat moment after they are continuously looking for the signal. Cleo wonders if they are ever going to get back home. Rikki said they can draw sticks, make an SOS, or eat each other. And Emma lets her know, snapping at her actually, that that's not funny. Rikki says she's trying to make a lighthearted moment out of this. Cleo says that she is making it worse. Cleo is obviously scared, but from what I could tell, it does not look like they're in that much danger on this island. So I do not understand. Well, I do understand why they're making a big deal out of it, but it is obvious that nothing bad is actually going to happen out there to them. But I can understand that they're out here on the island they've never been and they've been told nothing but bad things about it. Well, on their trip of trying to make it to the top of the volcano, they have to jump from these big rocks. They have to leap from one to the other. Well, apparently, Cleo does not want to do it because it's too steep, and obviously, if she makes the wrong move, she might slip, fall, and bust her head right open and be dead. She ends up, however, falling down a cave dwelling, which Emma goes down after her after Cleo says she cannot climb up because her leg is sprung. Rikki comes down too because why the hell not? How else they gonna get out? So they are walking through this cave, and by the time they get to it, it is already nighttime. They end up finding inside of the cave. This island is called Mako Island, and this cave dwelling is the entrance to the moon pool. Long story short, so you don't have to watch all of season 3, and they don't really make it completely and utterly easy to figure it out, but the island itself is made off of a piece that was broken from a comet after a mermaid so many years ago had to stop it from crashing into Earth. As a result, Mako Island got created. All of its magic comes from these crystals inside of it, which is where the blue glow comes from. The moon affects this because obviously the moon is made of craters and asteroids, and this comet is literally a big giant ass asteroid. So, of course, the moon has a connection to it. The show just does not make this obvious. Well, they won't find it after season 3. Basically, once they get there, they're enamored with how amazing it looks. And Emma notices that the water in the pool is connected to the ocean. So basically, it's all damn salt water. Great. Dehydrate my ass to death, I guess. She decides to swim out to see if it can lead them out. Yeah, out in the damn ocean, basically. Emma supposedly is supposed to be gone for 20 seconds. She's not gone for 20 seconds. There's no way in hell she was gone for 20 seconds. They look like they've been sitting there longer. Cleo is obviously wondering where on earth is Emma, and Rikki tells her to give her a minute. Emma comes up and says that they all should fit. It should be like 20 or 30 seconds. Cleo is not sure, and she makes it clear that she can't even swim. They have to convince her to get in the moon pool, but I guess all that procrastinating from Cleo does pay off because when the moon actually rises over the volcano, it creates the magical effect from the crystals after the moon is able to reach the inside of the island. The obvious light from it energizing the island to come alive. This results in the three of them sitting in this water and leaving even after it is still bubbling over. Now, I firmly believe that they would have immediately turned into mermaids if they had stayed in the water all the way until the moon passed over. Then they would have known what happened to them. Other than that, as far as they're concerned, they do not know what happened to them. They get in the water. They get right back out, being freaked out about the incident that they just saw. Cleo made a point that that was more than 20 to 30 seconds. Rikki tells us fine, they're alive. Luckily, the water police show up and rescue them because I am pretty sure they would have fucking drowned. There's no way. So, they all go home. We don't see what happened when they got home, but we know they're at home. The next scene shows that Emma goes to the beach. She gets inside the water. She jumps inside and she turns into a mermaid. We see the next scene of Cleo and she's sitting in the bathtub and she turns into a mermaid. The next scene we see Rikki. Rikki is walking, just literally walking, and then she's in somebody's yard because their sprinklers come on and they freaking splash her everywhere. And then she turns to a mermaid. All three of them meet at Cleo's house. They are freaking out. Luckily for them, Cleo's dad is at work and her mother and sister. is shopping. Cleo forgets that she was supposed to have a study time with Lewis. Lewis does show up in the middle of their conversation after Rikki brings up the fact that they looked like mermaids, and Emma refuses to believe this after everything that they've just witnessed. Cleo asks Lewis point blank if he knew anything about mermaids, which obviously upsets Emma and Rikki, and they can't tell nobody. Rikki wants to get back in the water to find out more, as if that would have helped. She's able to convince Emma to go with her. They go in the water and they have a great time. Cleo finds Lewis at the Juice Net Cafe, which the characters will frequent a lot. So he looked it up and she told him that he did not have to do that, but he said, "You asked, so I gave the opportunity." He was able to give her a lot of information, basically saying that mermaids believed in good and bad omens. This would mean that this would explain season 2 and their approach with the new mermaid, because mermaids can tell when a mermaid is evil and when a mermaid is good. So that must be the good and bad omen that they had back in those days. On top of that, they used to look like fish people. And we do find out later on in another episode that they didn't have powers back then. So mermaids have advanced over the years. And while they are talking about the situation, Zane just happens to show up and damn near runs them completely over. Why? Because he got in trouble with his father over the Zodiac situation, because the water police came to his house, which obviously Cleo, Emma, and Rikki talked to the water police, and it was Cleo and Rikki who probably told him about the Zodiac issue. Or maybe Rikki didn't tell him the part about stealing the spark plug, but either way, they told him. He apparently didn't like the fact that chicks like Cleo embarrassed him. Lewis becomes a defender and says it sounds like you didn't want to be embarrassed in front of your father. They is about to fight. Cleo senses something with the fire hydrant. She somehow triggers her powers, and I'll get into that, and is able to use it to throw Zane into the water itself. Cleo's freaked out and leaves. Lewis is puzzled and he don't know what just happened. She's able to find Emma and Rikki, who apparently go to Emma's house, and she's able to show them. And we end up finding out that Emma also has her powers, but Rikki does not, because Rikki does not know how to trigger her powers, meaning she does not know how to emotionally do it and don't know how to use the right hand motion to do it. The episode ends with them laughing about the fact that Rikki asks if they would be considered married after Emma tells them that the three of them have to keep this a secret and they have to stick together on this. Let's just see how that works out for them. Now that we got the recap, let's get into the review. First of all, off the bat, Zane is a piece of shit. Okay? I get it. This is supposed to be a teenage show, but we all adults watching this. Let's just be fair here. Zane's a piece of shit. Nate, to be honest, and this might be me thinking from future episodes, but he is a useless character. He is more just comic relief or just to be there. Now, obviously, Rikki and Zane have this dynamic where automatically she doesn't like him because he's a rich boy and he wouldn't like her because she's poor. Cleo is obviously a reserved person who is also shy. Why the show decided not to elaborate on why the hell she's afraid of water and just made it to be like, oh, she's just afraid of water, it's not like she has a phobia, is ridiculous to me. Emma obviously wants to be a swimmer, but that dream is out of the way because she's a mermaid. She can't really now be on the swim team. And we are going to soon have Lewis as an ally because obviously he is intrigued about mermaids. So let's just get down to the nitty gritty. Obviously, Cleo is supposed to be the heart of the group, Rikki the strength of the group, and Emma the mindset. Lewis is the what I would call the healer or the helper of the group. But that hasn't begun yet. Zane is looking like he is our, for right now, villain of our mermaids. On to why Rikki did not have powers. My guess is that Rikki does have powers. I've never believed that Rikki did not have her powers because it makes no sense for all three of them not to have their powers after becoming mermaids. Rikki clearly had her power. She, like I said, did not use the right hand motion, and she was more excited than actually angry. Cleo's power obviously is triggered from fear itself. And Emma's is triggered by this act of needing to defend herself. So in the act of self-defense. Almost one the same as Cleo, just a bit different. Cleo obviously can move water. This is called hydrokinesis. And Emma can freeze water, which this is called hydrocryokinesis. Rikki can heat water up. She has hydropyrokinesis. So, yeah. That's basically the nitty gritty. We do meet Cleo's sister in this, Kim. She's supposed to be like a recurrent villain from here and there and all that. But, just for season 1, she's kind of just there as an annoyance. In the first episode, you wouldn't know that because they really do not have her in here, but they introduce her character. The dynamics of this friendship, I believe, is workable, but also complicated. Because Rikki is more of the go with the flow, just do things for the hell of it. Emma is a by the book person, and Cleo just goes along with what feels right to her. Lewis is obviously the intellect of the damn group, but it's not to say that the girls are dumbasses. Zane obviously is used to like getting what he wants, so there might be some issues at home going on. But other than that, like I said, he is a piece of shit. And with all that being said, so far, none of these characters can piss me off. Because there's no reason not to like any of them. You kind of understand. I will go more in depth in these characters once I finish season 1 to give you a scope of idea where my mindset is when it comes to these characters. But you won't get that video until the 7th of August because this video comes out the 1st of August. So without further ado, we're going to head on to episode 2. But I'll catch you guys in that next video. Be blessed. Have a wonderful day. And if no one else has told you today, I'm telling you, I love you. It was nice seeing you. But we'll be back again.